The Markle Circus, Karma's grand finale. Picture this: a train pulling into a station, its whistle screaming through the fog. The platform is empty except for one figure standing there, clutching a tattered suitcase of grudges. That figure, Samantha Rasmussen, or as she prefers to be called now, Samantha Markle, estranged half-sister to Meghan Sussex. For years, this woman, along with her father Thomas Markle Sr. and brother Thomas Jr., has been running a three-ring circus of bitterness, with Meghan Sussex as the unwilling star. They've turned family dysfunction into a full-time hustle, peddling their resentment to tabloids, talk shows, and anyone with a microphone. But the spotlight they craved is dimming, and the consequences of their actions are rolling in like that train. This is a story about karma, how it waits, watches, and always finds its way home. Let's set the stage. Back in 2018, when Meghan Sussex married Prince Harry and stepped into the global spotlight, something shifted in the Markle family dynamic. Suddenly, Meghan wasn't just their relative, she was their ticket to relevance. Samantha, Thomas Sr. and Thomas Jr. saw dollar signs in her success, a chance to trade her name for fame, interviews, and headlines. Samantha, in particular, became the ringleader of this circus. She hit the media circuit hard, appearing on talk shows, firing off bitter tweets, and even penning a tell-all book with the subtlety of a sledgehammer, The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister. She claimed Meghan had wronged her, misrepresented their childhood, or, brace yourself, didn't call her enough. The audacity was breathtaking. But what Samantha didn't count on was the world seeing through her act. The public, the media, and now the courts have started to call her what she is, an opportunist chasing clout at the expense of her own sister. Now, let's talk about Samantha's latest chapter, because it's a doozy. Last December, a company called SPV LLC dragged her into court over a measly $2,592 in unpaid credit card debt. Let that sink in. While Samantha was busy hurling insults at Meghan Sussex on social media, she couldn't be bothered to pay her own bills. Citibank, fed up with her non-payment, wrote off the debt and sold it to SPV, who came knocking with a lawsuit. But it gets better, or worse, depending on how you look at it. The plaintiff didn't just want the original debt. They tacked on an extra $626.90 in legal fees, formally asking the court to make Samantha foot the bill. So here's the woman who spent years trying to profit off Meghan's name, dodging creditors, and drowning in financial chaos. It's not just embarrassing, it's a neon sign flashing priorities misplaced. But Samantha's troubles don't end with a credit card bill. Let's rewind a bit further. Since Meghan Sussex's engagement to Prince Harry, Samantha has been on a relentless media tour, painting herself as the victim of a cold, calculating sister who abandoned her family. She's thrown around words like defamation and lies, even filing a lawsuit against Meghan, claiming her sister's comments in interviews caused her emotional and financial harm. Spoiler alert, the courts weren't buying it. In a glorious smackdown, a Florida judge dismissed the case with prejudice. Legal speak for this is so baseless, don't even think about bringing it back. The case was dead on arrival, a hollow attempt to squeeze money and attention from Meghan's success. Yet, even after that humiliating defeat, Samantha kept at it, tweeting venom, cozying up to shady commentators like Dan Wooten, and clinging to Meghan's name like it's her personal ATM. Meanwhile, she can't scrape together $2,500 to settle her debts. The irony is thicker than a royal wedding cake. And then there's the rest of the Markle clan, who've turned their bitterness into a bizarre kind of performance art. Take Thomas Markle Sr. and Thomas Jr., who recently announced they were fleeing to Thailand for privacy. Privacy? From the same people who invited the Daily Mail to document their every move. The hypocrisy is almost comedic. These are folks who can't seem to function without a tabloid camera pointed at them, yet they cry foul when the world calls out their contradictions. Thomas Sr. has staged paparazzi photos, leaked private letters, and given tearful interviews about his estrangement from Meghan Sussex, all while conveniently ignoring his own role in their fractured family. Thomas Jr., meanwhile, has churned out YouTube rants and tabloid exclusives, each one dripping with resentment. It's a family business built on grudges, and Samantha is the CEO, orchestrating the chaos with a playbook that's equal parts delusion and desperation. Here's a juicy detail the tabloids love to gloss over. Samantha wasn't even using the Markle name until Meghan Sussex became a household name. Before that, she was Samantha Rasmussen, a name she happily went by for years. Court filings confirm it. She only dusted off Markle when Meghan's royal engagement made it a marketable brand. This wasn't about family pride or reconnection. It was a calculated move to cash in. Samantha saw an opportunity to ride Meghan's coattails, and she ran with it, rebranding herself as the wronged sister of a duchess. But the hustle is crumbling. The media, once eager for her soundbites, has started to move on. The public, once curious, has grown weary of her one-note narrative. And Meghan Sussex? She's thriving, building a life with Harry, raising their children, and launching projects like Archewell, all while the Markle circus spins its wheels in the mud. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture. The Markle family saga is more than just a tabloid soap opera. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when envy and entitlement take the wheel. Samantha, Thomas Sr. and Thomas Jr. could have chosen differently. They could have celebrated Meghan Sussex's success, reached out privately to mend fences, or simply lived their own lives. Instead, they turned their resentment into a public spectacle, betting that tearing her down would somehow lift them up. But karma doesn't play favorites. It doesn't care about your last name or your 5 minutes of fame. It sees the choices you make, the lies you tell, and the bridges you burn. And when it arrives, it's not subtle. For Samantha, it's a $2,592 debt and a dismissed lawsuit. For the Markles as a whole, it's the slow fade of relevance as the world turns its attention elsewhere. Now, don't get me wrong. Family dynamics are messy and estrangement is painful. But there's a difference between private pain and public profiteering. Meghan Sussex has spoken sparingly about her family, choosing grace over gossip. In her interviews, like the one with Oprah, she's focused on her own journey, her mental health struggles, her experiences with the royal institution, and her hopes for her children. She's built a life that's about purpose, not pettiness. Meanwhile, the Markles have built a brand on bitterness, and it's running on fumes. The talk shows aren't calling as often, the tabloid checks are drying up. And the public? They're starting to see the Markles for what they are, a family that mistook Meghan's spotlight for their own. So here we are, at the end of this wild ride. The Markle circus is packing up its tents, not because the world forced them to, but because they've run out of acts. Samantha Rasmussen, sorry Markle, is facing creditors, court losses, and the harsh reality that her hustle has hit a dead end. Thomas Sr. and Jr. are chasing privacy while begging for attention, a paradox so absurd it could headline their next tabloid spread. And Meghan Sussex? She's out there living her truth, unbothered by the noise, untouched by the chaos. This is what karma looks like, not a lightning bolt, but a slow, steady reckoning. It's the moment when the world sees you for who you are, and the mirror you've been avoiding finally catches your reflection. For the Markles, that mirror is here, and it's not kind. But for Meghan Sussex, it's a reminder. When you rise above, when you choose love over hate, and when you let go of the anchors pulling you back, you don't just survive, you shine. And that, my friends, is the most amazing conclusion of all.